Hello snowboarders of the internet. I'm your host Kevin, here for a review of the Nitro Phantom Carver edition for 2019. So I took these bindings to Copper again to ride them mid-season. It was pretty firm out, hadn't snowed in a while. I rode them on my personal ride alter ego in a 159. I wear Burton Almighty's in a size 8. Bindings fit pretty good to the boots. The boots are a little bulky, so if you do have a little bit of a bulkier boot, know that they are going to fit in these bindings. Overall, the fit was alright, and they matched up to the board pretty dang well. Adjustability in these guys is pretty standard. It's what you expect to see out of a high-end binding from a major brand. You have flip cams for your straps, pop them down, adjust your straps wherever you need to, flip them back up to tighten it back down. You do have an adjustable heel cup on these guys, so loosen the bolts on either side of the binding frame, move that heel cup forward, back to adjust and accommodate for different boot sizes. Everything else is pretty standard. One of my favorite things about the straps on these bindings is the actual adjusters and the ladders. Nitro, for a number of years now, has been putting wires, steel braided wires, into their adjusters and on their ladders on their higher end bindings. Now, you might be asking yourself, why would you possibly do that? What does that benefit? Is it making it stiffer? No, it's for durability. If you ever cracked a ladder, or if you've ever cracked an adjuster out on the hill during the day, it sucks. It can ruin your entire day. And if you're riding bindings that the local mountain doesn't carry, your day is definitely ruined because you can't replace that part. So the awesome thing about those cables is if you do crack the plastic, it's not going to fly off. You're not going to lose your strap, and you're going to be able to finish your day. The straps themselves, a lot of 3D shaping in the ankle strap. It's definitely a little bit of a stiffer strap, being the Carver edition of this binding, but it does have a lot of 3D shaping to it, so it is going to conform crash your boot pretty well. It's a little bit of a taller strap, so if you have instep issues like I do, you might feel a little bit of pressure. Overall, still a pretty comfortable strap. The toe strap is your classic split toe, so just 2 bands connected on either end. Cool thing about the toe straps this year is they added a Vibram rubber coating wrap to it. Now, originally I thought this was just going to be some crap marketing, whatever. They just wanted to throw the fancy Vibram name on it because it's a known name, it's a popular name. Turns out that the straps are actually crazy grippy. I have never felt a toe strap stick. Actually feels like it's sticking to my boot. It was honestly pretty awesome. So if you've ever had issues with your toe straps just blowing off constantly, check these guys out because these straps are not going anywhere. The ratchets on these bindings, there's actually something to talk about here. It is using a double ladder, so going across the ladder, the rungs are actually offset from each other, and it's using what they call their micro drive ratchet. The cool thing about this is, as you're ratcheting down, you actually have 2 separate teeth that grab onto that ladder. So you get basically twice the amount of clicks in the same amount of climb space that you would on a regular ratchet. So it gives you a little bit more control and a little bit more micro adjustability of just exactly how tight that strap is. The only downside that I really found to this is if you're the type that likes to just ham hock your ratchets and just freaking get after it, you might actually strip these. That's kind of the only downside, is because you're only grabbing half the ladder at a time, really. You're only grabbing half a ladder at the time. So it just has a lot more likelihood of slipping and stripping those rungs. And that can kind of suck, especially because if you have to replace that ladder, that is the only ladder that's going to fit on these. You're not going to be able to jerry-rig some other brand's ladder onto this binding and fit that ratchet. It is specific to those ladders. Otherwise, I never personally had any issues, but I'm also not the type of person that strips ladders anyways. So for me, they were awesome, and I actually really like that micro adjustability, but just know if you've stripped thousands of ladders in your snowboard career, might not be the best system for you. This being the Carver edition of the Phantom, they add a couple carbon fiber panels to the outside top portion of the highback. And overall, the highbacks are basically dead flat. They have no cup shape to them. They have no shape to them at all. They're a little bit taller, but dead flat up top. So you have some mobility side to side. Actually, you have a lot of mobility side to side because the highback is not getting in your way at all. You can stay away from that highback really, really easy. Pushing straight back into that highback, it's super stiff. You know, it's got that carbon fiber to it, so it is going to be really stiff. That said, I don't feel like it's really that much stiffer than the standard Phantom Highback. It is a little bit when you're pushing on the very outside of that corner, but because these Highbacks are so flat, it's pretty hard to push into that corner anyways. You have to really, honestly, kind of consciously do it. And if you're having to really think about like, okay, I want to engage this carbon, so I've got to really push my whole body out towards that corner, it's not really helping you. It's not really benefiting you in any way. So the carbon fiber panels are there. If you just have to have carbon on your bindings, cool, got it. But otherwise, I don't really feel like it did much. Bringing everything together on these bindings for the Flex, you're ending up at a relatively stiff binding. It's supposed to be, it's the Carver edition. Meaty frame, full length aluminum heel cup, pretty stiff Highbacks with the added carbon and pretty stiff straps. So overall, this is the type of binding that you're gonna get to push your energy down into your board efficiently and with power. You have some mobility side to side because those Highbacks are that flat, but the straps are relatively stiff. So just know that it's not gonna get you way out onto the tips. It's not super tweakable because the straps are gonna keep you more planted on top of that binding tray. Nitro bindings have one of my favorite features that goes underneath your foot, and that is their dampening system, the airbags. They soak up micro vibrations probably better than anything else I've ever ridden, and they soak up big level impacts better than pretty much everything else I've ever ridden. So if you're looking for something that's gonna be really, really smooth, check out the higher end bindings. These guys specifically also add a little bit of EVA under the binding that, to be completely honest, I don't really feel like does much. It's there, protects your board from getting scratches, but the airbags are so good that you just don't really need it. You don't really need that extra EVA down there. On top of that, you've got the mini disc, so there's a little bit more flex and a little bit more true board flex underfoot with that mini disc. It allows the binding to move around just a little bit. Doesn't make it softer, so don't confuse that. It just provides a little bit better board feel and a little bit better board flex. I really like that Nitro is doing carving focused bindings. If you've been paying attention to any of this stuff prior to this video with Angry Snowboarder, you know that that's all I do. I ride park maybe 3 days a year, and I pretty much spend most of my time ripping carves or trying to find POW if we ever do get snow. So I like seeing this. I like seeing a brand acknowledge that carving is starting to become a bigger thing, not just in Europe, but also in the US. So I do like that. However, I kind of wish it wasn't this binding. I think this platform, the Phantom platform, is not the right binding to make as your Carver edition. The team, that's the binding I'd really like to see this version go to. Nitro, if you're watching this video, make a Phantom regular, like you already are, team Carver. I want to see a team Carver. Overall, these bindings aren't bad, and if you're looking for that bling, if you're looking for that carbon, this binding is awesome. So definitely don't overlook it. It's not a bad binding by any means. I just don't think the Carver edition really added much to the standard Phantom. Thanks for watching. Did I piss you off? Was this a binding you were dead set on getting and I just crushed your dreams? Sorry, but that's how I feel about it. Click the subscribe button. While you're clicking that, click the bells. Make sure you're getting notifications when these videos are coming out. And if you feel like supporting us, and I haven't pissed you off too bad with this review, go to Angry Snowboarder VIP. Thanks for watching. Come back for the next one.